Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And if I got news for you, I've got so much news, we have to squeeze it all into a lightning round. I love these. If you're and there's Scott squishing my head. If you are unfamiliar with the lightning round, on our usual segments, the three of us go deep, take a deep dive into one topic that we've hashed out the details of behind the scenes on our backstage show for members only. On a lightning round, I grab headline stories. Bill and Scott have no idea what they are. I read them the headlines, and then we get their very hottest takes. Isn't that fun? I think so.
Smoking.
Okay, join with me now. Scott, we're going to open with you this time. Biden to cancel Keystone XL pipeline on first day, putting immediate dent in relations with Canada. Couple of things on this one, Scott. Number one, I'm so old. I remember when Donald Trump was going to bumble around the international stage, alienating all of our traditional allies. And two, it's kind of a risky move putting jobs and energy independence at stake when times are good. These times aren't that good, are they?
Yeah, last I heard, the people who are putting together that Keystone XL pipeline were talking about incorporating a lot more environmental aspects to it. I forget what they said, like they were going to buy carbon credits or something, and they were going to hire union labor. And basically, they were trying to ingratiate themselves with the incoming Biden administration. I can understand people in any place where a big pipeline comes through being concerned about the environmental impact of that. I think that's the proper role of local governments and in some cases state governments. Because this is a trans-state kind of pipeline, it's reasonable that the federal government would have some sort of role in it, but it should be to regulate commerce in the sense that the founders intended, which is to make commerce regular, which is to facilitate things in a way that have a positive impact for people. Obviously, being able to pipe oil from up around the Canada down to the Gulf, that's where it goes, right? It basically is taking that like oil sands, petroleum down to where it can be refined and shipped. That's a positive thing for this country, especially if you're an environmentalist, because if you don't do that, what you're talking about is putting that stuff on a ship and sending it out into the ocean and hoping it doesn't sink and hoping it doesn't have a big oil spill. But actually keeping it on land. Go ahead.
No. Oh, sorry. They also move it by train, and those never derail.
Yeah, no, of course, never not. So yeah, I think that there is an appropriate role for government in this process in the sense of the people coming together to make sure that when common areas are being employed for private interest, that it should be with a net zero harm to the area. I think that this is more posturing by the Biden administration than it is some sort of deeply held principle, because it looks good. It will pander to a group of protesters who've been upset about that Keystone XL and made that their poster child for many years. I don't think it's good for the economy. I don't think it's good for the country. Certainly not good for international relations with our friends to the north.
Yeah. All right, Bill, let's go to you. Oh, we talked about this a little bit in the last segment, but you're going to get to it a little more. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi push conspiracy theory suggesting Trump updated Putin about the Capitol riots and demand a 9/11 style investigation. Bill, once again, I'm so old. I remember when the conspiracy kooks were all on the right.
Didn't we just have a 9/11 style investigation called the I can't even remember his name anymore.
Mueller.
Yeah, didn't we have a 9/11 style investigation about these allegations that took 2 years, $50 million, 500 witnesses, and produced nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason you're going to hear Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris calling for investigations of these kind of things is because they think that by causing, well, they don't think this it's a tactic, and to some degree it's effective. What they're trying to do basically is try to keep the spotlight on Donald Trump so that nobody looks into their ties with China, their ties with Hunter Biden's laptop, Hillary Clinton's selling of uranium, and then getting $850,000 speech payment for Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi's connections to all of these companies that have, kickback and all the rest of it. What they're basically doing is they're trying to stay on the offensive and keep the spotlight on Donald Trump so that the spotlight doesn't fall on them. And the thing that's tragic about this is that the media is not only complicit in this, they're co-conspirators. They're in the same boat. They're the ones who didn't cover any of these stories. They're the ones who dropped the ball on all of these investigations that could have happened. And they're the ones that basically invented the case that was used to provide the Mueller report and the impeachment anyway. So when I hear Hillary Clinton talking about investigating corruption, I know what that means. That means get the light off of me and keep it off of me. Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton both calling for this these are the two. I can't think of worse people in government. So Hillary Clinton has accomplished the equality she was looking for. She's shattered the glass floor and is now functioning on a level that is as vile and reprehensible as any male politician that we've ever had in this country. And among the many things they have to celebrate these days, one of them is that she never got to be president, because if it's possible to imagine being in worse trouble, then we would be.
Steve, yeah. Can I tell you one thing that story makes me think of? And this is in my training as a journalist. My immediate thought is, where does that story come from? So does somebody call up Hillary Clinton and go, hey, what do you think of this? You got any theories about it? Or does Hillary Clinton have a press conference or get on the phone with her favorite reporter and say, hey, I've got some opinions from my retirement out in the woods somewhere? Like, who is really caring what Hillary Clinton has to say other than Hillary Clinton herself or one of her own old cronies in the media? Like, how do we even get a story like this?
I heard some of the audio, and I wasn't sure of the source of it. Apparently, it was a video, but I didn't have time to watch the whole thing, so I just got a couple of audio clips. I believe, Scott, if I'm not mistaken, Hillary had a box of Franzia and a Percocet and did one of her little video podcasts.
The goal is to spread fear and to discredit Donald Trump and the people that supported him. Yeah. That's the goal. The goal is to continue to keep people. Oh, there's going to be criminal investigations now and all the rest of it. I know what's going on with these people. Yeah. Not going to work.
And I don't know if it was intentional or not, Bill, but when you said Hillary Clinton investigates corruption, it's just the funniest damn thing I think I've heard all week.
Precisely correct.
Scott, let's go to you.
Yes.
Biden nominee for Deputy Education Secretary, which, by the way, is the person who actually does the day-to-day scut work of running that department, pushed radical training of San Diego teachers at San Diego Unified School District Superintendent Cindy Martin. And this is a quote from the story. According to the whistleblower notes, Love began by saying that racism runs deep in America and that blacks alone know who America really is. Love claimed that public schools don't see blacks as human, perpetuate anti-blackness, and spirit murder babies. I don't even know what spirit murder babies are.
You lost me at that last three words. I don't know what that is. If this is a person who wants to be part of steering some sort of national education policy, which, by the way, I don't think we should have at all. We don't need to have the federal government steering what the local school districts do. But if this person wants to do that, and if is it he or she?
She.
If she has this,
it's 2021. Who the hell knows?
How dare you ask?
I'm sorry. That was imprudent. If she has some kind of agenda where she believes all that stuff that you just said, then my question is, what are you doing in an educational context about that? If you think that black people are the only people who understand who America really is, well, what does that mean in terms of education? Does it mean that we have more classes talking about how black people are the only people who understand what America really is? Or is it calling for some sort of revision of textbooks to be more inclusive in the history of the country? What are you actually saying? So I'm loath to be agitated about somebody who makes crazy statements like this until I hear what they want to do with it. Then it gets concerning, especially given the power of the federal government to hold the purse strings of the local school districts and basically say, look, you don't have to take our money, but if you want our money, here's what you need to say.
We spent the last 4 years listening to Democrats complain that we need to put the grown-ups back in charge, and yet almost everybody the Biden administration has chosen to appoint so far sounds like somebody who never outgrew getting stoned in the dorm room and talking about world peace and stuff. Oh, well. Bill, this is a bad one. Germany to hold quarantine breakers in refugee camps and detention centers. Arbeit macht gesund has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
Presumably, they'll move those people there by rail. We are watching a worldwide full court press on the part of the global elitists against the people of the world. It's not just here, it's all over the world. With Brexit and the election of Donald Trump and all of that, these people had their plans derailed and they're determined that they're not going to allow that to happen anymore. And so they'll do things like this. They will basically, you didn't wear a mask, off you go to camp. Now, whether the German people will accept this or not is one issue, and whether the American people will accept it or not is another. And these are times when let me just say that when my First Amendment is most under attack is the moment when I'm happiest for the Second Amendment, and they don't have one of those. So if you really ask yourself if the government is empowered to basically round people up and send them off to camps because of a perceived health violation on the part of some official. I don't know what legislation they broke or whatever the case may be. Now is the time to realize that all of these things are in motion, and now is the time, most especially now is the time to not let this panic you or scare you. Now is the time to increase your resolve, and now is the time not to be quiet. Now is the time to talk louder in opposition to these kind of fascist activities. And these people will not get away with it. They won't. It's not going to work. You're going to see it's not going to work. You want to talk about overreach? You're about to find the textbook definition of it.
Not even sworn in, and they're already doing overreach. We end with me. I saved one just for me. China ties raise questions for Biden's pick for top defense post.
Great.
Oh, we're going to see so many of these stories the next 4 years. Colin Kahl works at a research center partnered with China's Peking University, which is run by former Beijing spy chief and has been linked to multiple espionage cases in the United States, and recently updated its charter to require loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party. Let's just hope that doesn't come to the oath of office on Wednesday. All right, folks, if you want to keep stories like this coming out, we're going to need your support. I need you to go to BillWhittle.com, click join now, or click that one-time donation button. It's going to be a rough 4 years. We're going to be here for some support and a whole lot of truth. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.